How's it going, everyone? Data here, and welcome back to the Vancouver Canucks franchise mode here on NHL 24. Moving into episode number 41, the 2034 postseason here in year number 11. Before we get started, I just want to take a moment to pause, as it has been an incredibly difficult couple of days in the hockey world with the tragic news of the passing of Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. Still just feels so surreal. I've tried to put my thoughts into words for about 15-20 minutes now, and I just keep stopping because it's so hard to find the right words when there are none. I'd wanted to go live or do a tribute video of sorts when the news came out, but as much as Johnny Gaudreau entertained me as a player and impressed me as a person, I just didn't really feel like it was my place to get views from such a true catastrophe, when all I would really say in the end is, I'll miss you, Johnny Hockey. You were electric as a player and a stand-up member of many communities that you touched. You inspired a generation of smaller players and will forever be remembered as one of the greats of your era. May you and your brother rest in peace, and may your family find comfort in the outpouring of love. All of this being said, I postponed last night's live stream to keep the spotlight on Johnny and Matthew, but I do understand the need for an escape at times like these. Some of you have told me before that our franchise mode series are a way for you to kind of unplug from the real world at times and just kind of, get away from it all for an hour as we focus on our little universe of building our dynasty and having fun with it. So I hope that's what this video can do amongst all the other videos here on the channel. It's the year number 11 postseason, and we're on our journey for another Stanley Cup here in Vancouver. So let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't see the last one, episode number 40, we finished off our 11th season here in Vancouver with a record of 45, 34, and 3. A few too many regulation losses for my liking. We ended second in the Pacific Division, 1 point behind the Calgary Flames. In the entire NHL, we were good enough for 10th place. Goal scoring was solid at 3.87 goals for per game, one of the highest in the, actually third highest in the NHL. Goals against at 3.11 per game. In comparison, it sounds high, but it's actually amongst like the top 10 lowest, so good to keep note of. Power play was number 1 in the league at 27.8%, but penalty kill did struggle a little bit. It came up from, I think, the mid-70s, ended at 79.9, which is good to see improvement. Again, though, take the entire league into consideration. Number 1 in the NHL is 83.8. We've seen years of 85 plus, closer to 90 even, and you have teams in the top 10 with 81%. The worst in the league at 74.9, and we're at 79.9. So we're a little closer to the bottom than the top. Actually, yeah, we're in the bottom like 12 or so. That is something that we want to be improving on, but it wasn't horrible compared to the rest of the league. When it came to regular season scoring, Frederick Lundqvist scored 57 goals and 94 points here in his 4th NHL season. He just keeps getting better. Not as, no 60 goals this year, but we'll still take 30 power play points, a plus 24, a 15 plus shooting percentage, which is what he's always been at since his sophomore season. He's always been around, that range, 15.8 in his career now, playing big minutes. We'll absolutely take 57 goals, even though he didn't hit 60. A huge season from Jonathan LeCaramel. After a poor postseason last year and then an offseason where he wanted crazy money, his demand came down, his production went back up, and he had another point per game plus season with 38 goals and 84 points. He's a plus 27. That's great from a guy who somehow still has top 9 potential. LeCaramel, he'll be starting his new extension next year as well, and we're happy to have him locked up. Stefan Markstrom, 82 in 78 from the Swedish chef, our playmaker with 64 assists. Quinn Hughes, our captain at 34 years of age, still scored 80 points, one of his best seasons in a little while actually. He loved playing with Kravchenko down there. So 85 a couple years ago, but really just his second 80-plus point season since 2027, and here we are in 2034. So great to see a little bit more consistency in that regard. Elias Pettersson at 35 years of age, he's still a 94 overall. Do not disrespect this man. 78 points in 79 games from him. Marco Kasper, his first season with us. Yes, he scored 93 last season, but take into consideration the role that he was playing in Detroit at close to 22 minutes per night. Put him down to 18 minutes per night. I'll still be very happy with a 63-point year from my second-line center. No problem for Marco Kasper. Aside from that, Aatu Räty had a very slow first half of the season, but a much better second half of the season, closer to point per game-ish. So although it was a 57-point season, if we had him on the second power play unit for the first half of the year, because we didn't, he would have been closer to 65 points. Those 11 power play points only came in the second half of the year. So add 8, 9, 10 more power play points from the first half of the year, he'd be well on pace of what he's doing the last few seasons. And that's why we gave him his extension extension as well. So Ratu's been extended, Lekaramäki's been extended. Noah Dobson, 57 points from the 34-year-old. Good to see. Marian Tiupkin finally excelled a little bit after he was, was he going to be a 20, 30-point guy? We don't know. Boom, 51 points. Yes, a -10, but happy to see 51 from Marian Tiupkin, who's now 21 on that third line. Christian Wallace scored 36 points, was a +15. The young 21-year-old, he's playing big minutes. Another year of playing about 21 minutes per night. He's our future, hopefully, like Quinn Hughes replacement. His offensive output has been hurt by having to share the spotlight on the second pair with Noah Dobson, but we saw back in the first half of year number 10, a few episodes back, he could score at a 60-plus point pace. But when you put him in a role where he's sharing that I guess the offensive output that's available, then it goes down a little bit. But I do have the hope that he could be our top, like, 60, 70-point first-pair guy of the future. He's still only 21. He's still so good. He'll need an extension as well this offseason. So good to see from Christian Wallace. Tage Thompson was a bit of a disappointment. We signed him back. We got him at the deadline last year. 12 goals and 17 points in 19 games in the playoffs last season, and 10 points in 14 regular season games. We bring him back this year. 35 and 80. Yes, he's third-line center. Yes, he's playing only 11, 17 per night, but I was hoping he would have gotten into the 40s or so. Hopefully the postseason will be where he turns it back on. Hayden Bufflin was a crazy surprise. We signed him in free agency to be depth in the AHL at like a 79, I believe. He grew to an 81, and as a fourth liner, 18 goals and 34 points playing under 9 minutes per night. So I'd love to get him into a higher role in the lineup. It's just difficult because we weren't expecting him to be here. We had already kind of allocated those lineup spots for our younger players, like the Hugo Beaufais of the world and the Junior Sidors of the world. But if they're struggling a little bit more, if Beaufais scores 32 points, getting more ice time, and Junior Sidor, not that much more ice time, but if they're scoring less points with more ice time than Bufflin, then Bufflin's going to end up being the guy who forces his way into that role. Beaufais, rookie season, close to 11 minutes per night, 32 points, 17 goals. Sidor, sophomore season, 29 points at +12. I'm not sure on Junior Sidor. I'm not totally sold on him. Arcabello, another guy who was in his rookie season, 17 points in 69 games from the medium elite grinder. Another product of the 2030 draft class, by the way. Arcabello, Sidor, Beaufais. Could it be Tiupkin? No, Wallace. No, but we didn't get Wallace actually in our draft, but still from that draft class. Tiupkin 2030. It was a crazy 2030 draft class, as we had mentioned in the Discord server. A lot of play, and we'll see in a second, like Bonino, all these guys coming in 2030. Kravchenko, Kravchenko 2029. It was Alexandrov in 2030. And speaking of Alexandrov, in his rookie season here as medium elite at 22 years of age, he scored 17 points and was a +8. Kravchenko on the top pair with Quinn Hughes, 15 points and a +11. I'm glad he's allows Quinn Hughes to do his thing. I just thought that he would have done a little bit more because he had scored 20 and 73 last year, was a +28. This year, way more penalty minutes, only 5 more games, and 5 less points while playing 2.5 more minutes per night. Although Kravchenko knew his role and did his job to allow Quinn Hughes to score 80 points, that's great. I wouldn't mind seeing just a little bit more from him, personally. Philip Hronik filled in for a lot of injuries that we had. It was a bit of an injury bug kind of episode. 10 points in 43 games from our veteran 36-year-old, now at 79 overall. Elmer Soderblom as our 13th forward, 7 points and a +6 in 21 games from the 6'8" forward down on our fourth line. Emilio Bonino, he was injured a lot. He had 6 points in 42 games. Another rookie from the 2030 draft class, 81 overall with the 97 shot blocking and low elite potential. Good rookie season from him, and there you have it. Now the goaltending, as last episode was entitled, the goalie carousel was really something. These are the 3 goalies that we ended the season with. That doesn't even include Rainer Muller. So to end the season, we had 3 goalies. If you missed last episode, you're saying, what's Thatcher Demko doing here? Thatcher Demko, who he traded away years ago to the Colorado Avalanche, then he found his way over to Los Angeles, then over to Edmonton. He was playing on an Oilers team that was selling and missing the playoffs, so we picked him up for Rainer Muller, who was just atrocious. He went 5-5 in 11 appearances. Welcome back to Vancouver, now 38 years of age, the former second-round pick in 2014, here 20 years later. 903 save percentage and 2.92 goals against average, not horrible. Also playing this season, we called up our Ukrainian rookie from the 2029 draft class. He's on an expiring contract as well. The 78 overall with medium elite potential. Appeared in 21 games and went 14-7 with 3 shutouts. Not the greatest save percentage at .892, but at 2.94 goals against average. Remember, the league-wide goals against average is about 3 goals, so that's understandable. And Hunter Jones, who has been our rock for years now, really had some struggles. Last season, we were starting to see the beginning of it, and this year it continued, going 6-10-1 in 19 appearances, 901 save percentage, and 2.98 goals against average. Some better performances towards the end of the year boosted those numbers, but he was sub 900 save percentage for a very long time. So we ended the year essentially with 3 goaltenders and a major question mark on who will begin this series against our postseason rivals, essentially, the Anaheim Ducks. Here in year number 11, it is our 10th postseason berth in our franchise mode series so far, and this will be our 5th time facing the Ducks, and we're facing them for the 3rd consecutive year as well. We do have a good track record against the Ducks, as we beat them in 6 in round number 1 of year number 3, swept them in round number 2 of year number 5, then lost in 7 against them in round number 2 of year number 9, and last year beat them in 6 in round number 2 of year number 10. So we're 3-1 through 4 postseason series against Anaheim, and now face them again for a 3rd consecutive year. So thank you for bearing with me. Quick little recap of where we've been. A couple of weeks off. We're going to be putting this series into overdrive in the month of September to wrap it up to about year number 15 before NHL 25 is coming out at the end of September. So you're going to be getting a lot more Canucks in the next few weeks to come. Sorry for the couple of weeks off. If you saw the channel update, I told you all about those reasons and everything around it. Thank you for everyone and your understanding. But I'm glad to be back and getting back into it. And we'll start off by getting into the comments from the assistant general managers in the last one. The major question is, who's our starting goaltender? I think that's really been the main thing moving into round number 1, because it's not only the postseason, it's the Anaheim Ducks, a team that we've seen many, many times. So we'll start off with Gavin, who said a few scattered thoughts. First, Rip Beaulieu. I hope Boston treats him well. Of course, our enforcer who we traded to the Bruins. Never realized how good that 2030 draft was. Neither did I, honestly. Very impressive work from the scouting team. Thank you. Next, he didn't have great regular season numbers like Lindbergh and San Jose. There's a throwback to a Data 782 Hall of Famer. But could Bykov pull a Philip Lindbergh and lead us to a cup as a sub 80 overall? Injury bug was ridiculous this episode, yes. That Muller/Demko trade was hilarious. Not in the right city, let alone ballpark. And then 7th round pick is changed. Then they're cheering in the streets. Yes, I hope you know what you're doing. Classic EA. League-wide goaltending is absolutely horrible, and defenseman contracts are getting brutal. Hopefully that's fixed by NHL 35. I think they said it was by NHL 45. I heard a leak. We need to find a way to beat the Ducks. They're terrible on paper, but always find a way to get by us. Yeah, they're 3-1, but they've made it some tough series. The series has gone to 6 or 7 games 3 out of 4 times. I believe we lost against them the majority of the times this season as well. So maybe a new goalie like Demko or Bykov is the way. Jones's track record against Anaheim has been pretty bad in the playoffs in recent years, if I remember correctly. So yes, we've won those series 3 out of 4 times, but it's not always with Jones getting to be the guy who leads us through. Sign Bykov before his ask goes up. Yes, he's going to be an expiring RFA. My gut is saying Jones to start, Demko to back up, but we should check how Jones has done against the Ducks in the past. Have a great vacation, Data. It was great, thank you, and we'll see you at Disneyland for another Ducks playoff matchup. Thank you, Gavin, and here we are for that. Next up, going over to Stephen Y, who said, "Hi, Data," and started off with some thoughts on the contracts that we gave to Lekaramaki and to Ratu. But what Stephen really liked this episode is how some players improved in the second half of the season, especially Ratu and Markstrom. It's definitely Ratu on the power play, not Sador, but at least we tried, which is all right. And yes, I would see Sador as a candidate for moving somewhere else in the offseason, especially with a guy like Buffalo on the 4th line giving such output. It might make Sador expendable. The biggest question now is the starting goalie against the Ducks. Demko had an .885 save percentage against them in the last game of the season. That was in a 5-3 loss to Anaheim at the end of the season, which included an empty net goal, and he had .885 save percentage in that. As I can see, we played Muller in the first game against the Ducks, and we won 4-3 early on in the season. And then I saw later on we had Hunter Jones in goal, and we lost 4-1 in January. Then Muller was in nets again in February, and we lost 5-3. So I'll have to say we're 1-2 against the Ducks in the regular season. And in other words, the only goalie who has won, Rainer Muller, against the Ducks is gone. There's not much of a difference between our 3 goalies, and I would love to see Hunter in the first game because he's proven himself so many times in the past. His playoff numbers are probably even better than Demko's, and we should show him our trust. However, he lost more games than he won this season. If it was real life, I would probably not go Demko because he spent years in Los Angeles, and the Ducks know him too well, and he also lost the last game against them. I think that's the point we got to take into consideration. What speaks for Bykov is nobody knows him. He's the unknown. He's the new guy. He's the X factor. But I would not trust such a young goalie in the playoffs. Again, that's in the real world. I understand. I say Jones for the first game with Demko as the backup, and then we'll react to whatever happens in game number 1 moving forward. I wouldn't mind if you decide differently, because I'm never sure about goalies in this game. No logic to be found, absolutely, and then a little story on more of that. But more to the point, some info to get our players excited and eager to win. In 2032, 2 years ago, we lost the Ducks in the second round in 7 games after we were leading that series 2-1. I remember it being a debacle as well. I don't even want to think about it. And last year in 2033, we won against the Ducks in the second round in 6 games. And then in 2026, back 8 years ago, we won in 6 games after 2 crucial games won in overtime. And our longtime team members can tell you about those stories. I'm looking at you, our captain, Quinn Hughes, and you, Elias, Philip, Atu, and Vasily Podkolzin. And guess who scored the series-winning goal in our 2 winning series against the Ducks? Yes, it was you, Atu, in 2026, and you, Elias, in 2033. I would love to see history repeat itself for the love of all of our fans and the kids from all over British Columbia. It's up to you, our veterans, to take this team to glory. We have a good core, good youngsters too. Eat well, sleep well, and get your job done. Show me your passion! Go Nucks. Thank you, Steven. And great points going back in the history. Those veterans, Hughes, Pedersen, Ratu, they're still around. They've been through the pain. They've been through the highs and the lows. They know how to get through this Ducks team. We'll close it out over in the Discord server by hopping over to Hobbsy, who said, Canucks comment time. Solid season once again, and we need a deep playoff run, though. The goaltending is still a little iffy. I like the Lekaramaki extension and the Demko trade, as crazy as that may be. No way Rainer Muller was getting a 6x6, and that was proven even more in the games we played Edmonton after the trade. As for the current goalies we have, I really don't know who starts in the playoffs. They all scare me. Jones has the track record. He's been our guy time and time again, and he's a Canucks legend. Baikov, the young up-and-coming kid, he played the bulk of the games down the stretch, and he kind of stole the net. He's earned his chance. Demko, well, he's Thatcher Demko, Canucks legend. We traded him, brought him back. What a story if he leads the Canucks to a cup. Personally, Hobbsy says, I think it's Baikov who starts. He played the important games down the stretch, he took the net, he earned the opportunity. I'd give him game 1. If he's solid, great, give him game 2. If he's bad, then I think we turn to Demko. If Demko's bad in game 2, we're probably looking at a 2-0 deficit and potentially a Hunter Jones game 3. EA just in general really needs to overhaul the goaltending simulation. There's no reason this should keep happening time and time again. Have the top goalies sim like the top goalies. It's ridiculous. Final note, I could be mixing up franchise modes, but I feel like we play the Ducks every year. No, you're not. This is the 3rd consecutive season. Let's finish them off before Zellweger returns because he's currently injured. Then take out the rest of the league on our path to Lord Stanley. Go Canucks. Thank you very much, Hobbsy. It's always great to get a Hobbsy novel in the AGM comments before an episode. So yes, the Ducks team on paper is not super impressive. They have a great first line, even a top 6, I'd say. Leo Carlson, Tanner Howe, and Mason McTavish on the first line. Troy Terry at 36 with Trevor Zegras and Ludwig Carlson on the left wing. Then we get down into the bottom 6 here. Desruisseau, Marquez, Bjorkstrand, Pedersen, Foodie, and JT Miller, former Canucks legend. On defense, Piero Zabato with Jamie Drysdale. Second pair, David Reinbacher with Carter Yakimchuk. Funnily enough, Hobbsy's username in the Discord server, Yakimchuk superfan. And on the third pair, Olczyk with Kuhlman. So the right side of defense is solid enough. The left, not as much. And the goaltending, it is 76 overall. Andrei Vasilevsky, who played the majority of the games in the season. 53 appearances, going 26, 23, and 3. But they acquired Kalle Klang at the deadline. And in the 16 games he appeared in, he went 6-9-1, 872 save percentage, and 4.3 goals against average. So as we know, he'll have a 950 plus in round 1, but 872 to end the year, that does give me a little bit of hope, especially if they're moving Vasilevsky to the backup, who might not even see the net in the end if Klang gets all the games. Zellweger would be big to get back on that left side, because then Piero Zabato can bump to the second pair as an 84 overall. Zellweger would take first pair. If you look at the injury report, we see that he's back April 27th, so maybe playable injury comes back sooner than that, but it's currently April 18th, so we're looking at a little over a week. Best case scenario, well, the first game's on the 19th actually, so maybe we can get through the first 3 or 4 games without Zellweger being involved, but I probably think that he's back around the 6-7 range. Now, that being said, I understand the arguments for all 3 goalies. I can make an argument for any of those 3 to be our starter in game 1. I do think we go Baikov for number one, the reasons that Hobbsy said, in the sense that he played a lot of games down the stretch, he earned the crease with some big and influential wins at important moments. But then there's also the franchise mode aspect of it all, where you throw a low overall goalie in there and you cross your fingers sometimes. So it's interesting to see he also had 3 shutouts through 14 wins, despite the sub 900 save percentage. So I'm kind of leaning towards Bykov getting game 1, but he'd really have to impress me, because Jones has the track record and Demko also has the storyline where he came in, he didn't look bad. He lost the last game of the year. It's really more the Anaheim factor for Thatcher Demko. He lost that last game against Anaheim to end off the season, and when he played in LA for so many years, he faced LA very, very often. A lot of those guys, Zegras, Carlson, McTavish, a lot of those guys have been there for a long time now. So these guys know Thatcher Demko. Any other team, I might lean Demko. But for the Anaheim factor, I'm leaning Bykov to start and go from there. So I think Hunter Jones gets the backup just out of respect for Hunter Jones. But if Bykov doesn't look good, then we have a big question on our hands, whether we go to Jones or whether we go to Demko for game 2. But Bykov will start game 1 with the lineup, the rest of the lineup looking as it is. I don't think there's anything else to really touch. And we're ready to rock and roll. Apologies for the longer than usual introduction, but here we are in year 11 looking for a 3rd Stanley Cup title. Through our 10 seasons so far, we've been to 3 Stanley Cup finals, we've won 2 Stanley Cups. The journey for a 3rd cup in 7 years. Can you give yourself a dynasty title with 3 cups in 7 years? I think you can. The journey for that dynastic title begins here in 2034, April 19th. Game 1, round 1, Rogers Arena, facing the Anaheim Ducks, a team we know very, very well. As you're watching this episode, you can see that it's over an hour and a half long. Maybe it's an hour 30, 40, 50, maybe it's even 2 hours long. I always mix it up to keep it different. We could lose in round number 1, and it's just a black screen for over an hour. If that's the case, just let that video run a little bit. I'd appreciate it very much, just to help with the performance of the video. But I don't want anything to be spoiled for you. I want you to react as I'm reacting to it all. Game 1, round 1, let's do it. First period, 3-1 Ducks early. This is what I'm talking about with Bykov. This is what I'm talking about. We give him the crease. It's a lot to ask of the youngster. We need to support him with the goal scoring. Marco Kasper scores his first postseason goal as a Canuck, shorthanded, just 2 minutes and 16 seconds in. Then Bjorkstrand, Zegras, and Pettersson, 3 goals on 12 shots to begin this first period. Now we head into the second, down by 2. Second period, no scoring. Shots are 30-17, so you can't really blame Bykov, with the shots being almost double in the Ducks' favor. We have 1 on 17 past Klang with his .872 save percentage. Of course, like I said, he's going to get .950 plus now. But let's turn it on in the third period. Down by 2, at home in front of the fans. We have 1 shorthanded goal. Nothing even strength, no power play, and there's McTavish getting his own power play goal. And there's Howe again. I'm not going to blame, whether it's 2 or 20, if you're going to score 1 goal and there's a 6th, oh my goodness, let him keep coming. Power plays, keep going. 2 power play goals in this third period. And the Ducks are going to beat us. Let's just call it a day. 6-1 the final. Shots and 38-25. What a shame. What a real sad shame that was. What a shameful beginning. What are the plus minuses here? -3 from our top line. Lekaramaki, Markstrom, and Lundqvist, all -3s. Wallace, -2. Arcabello, and then all these guys at the bottom, -1s. Buffalo only played 539. Anyone, Ratu and Casper, 2+1s. At least there's that. That was sad. What a sorry beginning to the postseason. 1 shorthanded goal 2 minutes in, and then nothing else past Calais, Dominic Hasek, Klang. Okay, 6-1 loss to start. This is what I was hoping not to see, because now we have a very difficult decision to make with the goaltending. Bykov is not gone, but he's definitely not starting game 2. Yes, we only scored 1 goal, but what if we did score 3 or 4? Allowing 6, I understand somewhere on the power play and all that, is unacceptable. So it comes down to Jones and Demko for game 2. Like I said, any other team, I think I go Thatcher Demko game 2, absolutely. But because of the Anaheim factor, we're going to go Hunter Jones. He's had his ups and downs against Anaheim, but he's been our playoff guy year in and year out. Some years better than others, but typically .920 save percentage in his career in the postseason. In the regular season, .908. So you see there's a pretty noticeable difference between the playoffs. And actually, he even faced 3 shots last game. 3 saves on 3 shots. He played 10 minutes as Bykov got pulled. So already he made 3 saves for us. I don't know why he gets credited with the loss, but there you go. That's sad. Now his all-time numbers are affected by that. But anyways, I think Hunter Jones gets the start for his track record in the postseason. But if things don't go well, we might have to roll with Demko down the stretch. But Hunter Jones will get game 2. Let's shake it off, everybody. 1 shorthanded goal. I don't know where the even strength passion was. -3 from the first line. Unacceptable. Turn it around. Show me some heart. Show me some passion. Let's run up the score even a little bit and even this series up, headed back to Anaheim. First period, and that's what I want to see! Okay, I said run up the score, and that's what the Vancouver Canucks did. Oh my goodness, that is rare to see. A 7-goal first period. Woo-hoo, the boys answered the call. Pettersson, the leader, opening this game up saying, boys, follow me. 2 goals in the first 5 minutes. Then Markstrom says, hold up, let me get 2 of my own. Then, so all power play goals as well. Power play. Lundqvist power play. Pettersson says, hey, don't forget me. Let me just get my hat trick. Within 12 minutes and 23 seconds, a hat trick for Elias Pettersson. And then Alexandrov, hey, can I get my first career playoff goal? Sure, go ahead. JT Miller got 1 back for the Ducks after it was 6-0. So Klang allows 3 and gets pulled. Vasilevsky has allowed 4. And 4 of 7 have come on the power play. What happened with the penalties here? Roughing minor and then a checking from behind major. There you go. So it was a little 5-on-3 and then an extended 5-on-4 that went after the 5-on-3 expired. Okay, so 7-1. Shots are double. 18-9. Is that a hat trick for Markstrom too now? Markstrom hat trick. He wanted a hat trick as well. Second period ends 8-3. Zegras and House score a couple here. So the 3 goals on 17 shots is concerning me. Yes, we scored 8. Yes, we're winning this game. But 3 on 17 does concern me a little bit. Hat-trick for Pettersson. Hat-trick for Markstrom. Oh my goodness. A hat-trick within 20 minutes and 27 seconds for Markstrom. Shots are 37-17 through 40 minutes. And now we have third period action. Can we get to double digits here in Vancouver? What I want to see is a clean period, though. There you go. A 9th. 4 goals from Elias Pettersson. That has to be a career high in a postseason game for Pettersson. 4-goal game from the leader. 35 years of age. He has his 2 rings. He wants a 3rd. 5 minutes left. Will we hit double digits? We hit 50 shots! 50! 5-0! 51-23 the shots end. 9-3 Vancouver. Whoa! 4 goals and an assist for Pettersson. 3 goals, 2 assists for Markstrom. 4 assists for Quinn Hughes. Please don't show me any negatives in a game like this. Oh, I already see them. Oh my goodness. Arcabello, Sador, Bonino, Alexandrov, and Markstrom. Even Markstrom! Because the power play goals, that's why. Power play points even. Oh, wow. Almost everybody. Actually, it was the big dogs. It was the power play units who came through first and foremost. And Hunter Jones, 20 saves on 23 shots, 870 save percentage. Not really impressed. So we're going to use a game like this as a little cushion. Byfuglien, hey, fractured collarbone! Out for the postseason, basically. Hayden Byfuglien, wow. Great story, and Hayden Byfuglien is gone. So Elmer Soderblom will join the team and play 4th line. But that's a bummer. Hayden Byfuglien was a machine. Thank you, Hayden. What did Byfuglien do for us? 2 games, -1. All right. That is a bummer. So Elmer Soderblom, welcome to the lineup, my friend. Mr. 6'8", 5-star. Actually, not 5-star anymore, but 92 strength. Yeah, okay. So, goaltending now. Jones wasn't super impressive. The series is now tied at 1. I didn't say we wouldn't play Demko, but I didn't want to lead with Demko. Just because Anaheim has seen him before doesn't mean he's unplayable against them. But I didn't want to lead with Demko if we didn't have to. Jones, I'm not putting him away. Like, I'd still play him over Bykov right now. But let's give Game 3 to Demko in Anaheim. I think that's what we're going to do. Down in the AHL, we finished the season, let's see, 47, 20, and 5. 70 points in 72 games from Sergei Voinov, who should be in the NHL next season as well. That's great. So, big 9-3 win. That's what now? 6, 7, 10. That's 19 goals in 2 games. Fans got their money's worth in those 2 games in Vancouver. Now we go to the Honda Center, though, in Anaheim for Game 3, with this series now being a best of 5. The Ducks will want to answer back in a big way after getting 9 against, 7 in that first period. Let's do it. Thatcher Demko, we're looking at you, buddy. First period, 3-0 Vancouver. Klang is back between the pipes, and he allows 3 in the first period. Hughes, Lundqvist, and Tage Thompson, thank you very much. 3 goals within the first 4 minutes. 3 on 15 to start the first period. Second period now, it's 5-0. Ratu and Dobson on Vasilevsky, who comes in relief. Thank you. Finally, shots are 28-21 through 40. That first game scared me, but we're going to win games 2 and 3 here. Power play Anaheim. There's Karlsson scoring on the power play. That's Ludvig Karlsson past Demko. There's a 6th for Elias Pettersson. Not a 6th in this game, but that's actually his 5th of the playoffs. And that's a 6th for Vancouver. Power play Canucks now with 5 minutes to go. Killed off by Anaheim. 5-goal lead. That'll be enough to win it. 2-1 series lead now as we win 6-1 and lead and outshot the Ducks 39-29 in that one. 3 stars. Dobson a goal and 2 assists. Thatcher Demko makes 28 saves. Let's go. Vintage Thatcher. And Elias Pettersson scores a goal and an assist to bring his totals down to 5 goals and 2 assists. Yeah. 7. No! Oh my goodness. I saw Lundqvist. I didn't look at the date. Lundqvist has an injured leg out until April 29th. More injuries. Oh my goodness. So he's out for... The next game's on the 25th, so he'll be out for like 4 days. He's going to miss a couple games. That's too bad. Pettersson, can we even call up Pettersson to the first line after we've been seeing results like these? It's mostly been the power play, though. So, okay, Pettersson's going to go first line for the +5. Tupkin... Okay, Tupkin can move up with Kasper and Ratu. Sador will move up with Thompson and Beaufet. And then we need to call somebody up, right? Yeah, we need to call somebody up. So who comes up from the AHL? Because they're going to be playing in the playoffs themselves. You know what? It's got to be Podkolzin. Of course, it's got to be Podkolzin. Postseason Podkolzin. Another veteran who's been here before. I only played 4 games this season. I'm sorry, Vasily. I'm so sorry. But he's been a monster in the postseason historically in our franchise mode series. Shoots at 9.6% in his career in the season. In the playoffs, 13.1%. Crazy. So Podkolzin will get called up. I'd be tempted to call up Voinov or Campbell as well, but they also have a job to do down in Abbotsford. And Podkolzin is not just a 79 overall. He's a guy who has a very long track record with this organization. So Pettersson comes up, Tupkin comes up, Sador comes up, and then Podkolzin on the 4th line. All right, there we go. Fix up the power play and little things like that as well. Vasily Podkolzin, welcome back to the lineup. He's our secret weapon, the ace up our sleeves. Let's see what he can do moving into Game 3 with a 2-1 series lead. Yeah, AHL season is over. Very good. And down in the AHL, we're playing against San Diego. Of course, play the Ducks and we play San Diego. And we lose 5-1 in Game 1. Makes sense. Demko is still our starter, correct? Yes. Auto goalie rotate is turned off, if I'm not mistaken. Lovely. All right, so Game 4 in Anaheim after they lose 9-3 on the road and 6-1 at home. We thought they might last game and they didn't as much, but we can't allow ourselves to just sit back and say they're going to take it. No, they don't want to go down 3-1. They want to tie this series up, and they also want to stop being embarrassed as they have been the last couple of games. Game 4 in Anaheim, first period, 2-1 Canucks with Hugo Beaufet scoring the first 2 goals. Thank you very much. His first 2 career playoff goals, and they come back-to-back. Shots 13-8 Vancouver after 20. Second period, 2-0 it still remains. Shots now 28-16. Third period action. Will we go up 3-1 in this series and have a chance to end it back in Vancouver? Or could the Ducks claw back as time continues to tick away? Power play goal for Elias Pettersson. 3-0 Vancouver. The shot's now 36-21. I can't believe we got 50 shots that other game. 51. 5 minutes to go. Anything from Anaheim in front of their fans at Honda Center. Power play Vancouver will take it as we shut out the Ducks, outshooting them 42-23. And Thatcher Demko, there he is! What a story this has been! Beaufet scores twice. Demko with 23 saves for the postseason shutout. Junior Sador 2 assists as he gets promoted to the 3rd line. He's trying to fight for his life here in Vancouver. Great performance here. Demko allows 1 goal across 2 games, 6 goals and 8 points from Elias Pettersson, and we'll move into Game 5 with the chance to end it back at home in Vancouver. No reason to stop for anything. Let's keep on going. No breathing, no water, nothing. Game 5 back in Vancouver. Let's end it right here, right now. First period, 2-1 Ducks after 20. Terry on the power play. Wallace ties it up soon after, and then Zegras puts the Ducks back ahead. Shots 14-13 after 20. We're down by 1. Second period now, no scoring. Shots 25-24. Again, just 1 more shot for Anaheim. We're down by 1 here in the 3rd period. It is still anyone's game here in Vancouver. Let's end it off. Don't let them bring it back to Anaheim and push it to 6 and have a chance for 7. Let's end it here. Let's go. We've scored 6. We've scored 9. Let's get more than 1 past Klang here. Come on. Final 5 minutes. Outshooting the Ducks, and there's Zegras making it 3-1. But hold on, Lekarmaki answers right back like 13 seconds later. Final 2 minutes. 1 minute go pushing, and that's going to be it. Ducks take it 3-2. Shots end 37-34. Calle Klang was due to have a game eventually. He makes 35 saves. Dobson 2 assists. Zegras scores twice. Was that Zegras? I think it was. Unless I'm mistaken, sorry. And that's a 3-2 loss. Tight 1-goal game. Demko did his job. We got to score goals, though. Girardi Markagani, head coach replace. And Lundqvist is back in the lineup. Great news. So, but Colson, how did you do, buddy? Let's see it. 2 games, no points, even plus minus, 10:40 of ice time. He's a presence. What a machine. So bump everybody back, unless Sidor should sound. Tupkin, no points plus 2 in 5 games. Sidor 2 assists, but only from that last game with Beaufait's 2 goals. So I think I'll put the lines just back to how they were. We'll do that. Lundqvist back in the lineup. Great to have his goal scoring back as well. How many had he scored? Not too many, but yeah, 2 goals, 4 points in 3 games. There you go. Lundqvist back in the lineup. Let's try and end it in Game 6 with a fully healthy lineup at the Honda Center. Don't let them push it to 7. They don't deserve it. We're the better team. We've shown that game in and game out here since Game 1. Ever since Game 1, we've been showing it since Game 2. Let's end it, and let's punch our ticket, to round 2. First period, and it's 2-0 Ducks early. Carlson and Pettersson score 2 on 11. At least we're getting shots, though. 15 shots in the first period. But now, of course, Dominic Hasek was going to turn on the Jets after he gets pulled in back-to-back games. 2-0 Ducks. Second period, power play early for Anaheim would kill that off. Second period ends 3-2. All right, so we score twice. Lekkerimaki scores 2 goals in 17 seconds to tie the game at 2, but then Pettersson scores his second to make it 3-2 Ducks. So down by 2, now we're down by 1. All right, shots are 25-21 Vancouver through 40. Third period action. Can we tie it up and take it in 6, or will the Ducks push it to 7? Power play Anaheim killed off. Let's get a third period goal. We can't just have 2 from Lekkerimaki back-to-back. Let's see some consistency throughout the lineup. Come on, gentlemen. 5 minutes to go. We need to see that top 6, top 9 get in on it. 2 minutes left. Please, someone. No. Where's the goal scoring? Shots end 35-34, and just like that, up 3 games to 1. Don't tell me we're going to choke this as we're going to Game 7. Whoa, now we're going to Game 7. Hold on a second. Hold your horses. Let's go back to edit lines. What's not working over here? What's with the scoring blowing up and then going absolutely quiet? 5 points, 8 points, 6 points, great. 9 points, 1 goal, 5 points from Casper, 1 goal, 3 points from Ratu's killing me. Nothing from Tiyupkin, 3 points from Thompson, 4 points from Beaufait, Sidor, Soderblom, Arcabello. Arcabello and his 5-star physical, let's put him up here. Arcabello's coming third line, Tiyupkin's going to go 4th if he can't cut it. Beaufait, Thompson, Arcabello on the 3rd. But Ratu even, he's killing me too. Maybe we put Beaufait. We'll keep the +3. Yeah. Beaufait, Pettersson, Casper, Beaufait, 2nd line. Ratu, Thompson, Arcabello, 3rd line. Tiyupkin, Soderblom, Sidor, 4th line. Yup. Defense, 6 points +3. Kravchenko +2. All right, second pair, +4. Dobson, 7 points +6. Third pair, Bonino, 10 penalty minutes, -1. Alexandrov, -2. I don't really hate the third pair. And Demko, 942 save percentage. He's doing his job. No, that's as good as it's going to get. Yeah, that is as good as it's going to get, ladies and gentlemen. Do we bring Hronek in instead of Bonino, maybe? 1 assist, 10 penalty minutes, -1. The -1 doesn't hurt me as much. It's the 10 penalty minutes. Hronek, he's been here before. 14 points in 22 games back in 2031. What a beast. Do we potentially bring in Filip Hronek? He played a lot of time with Alexandrov this season. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to bring Filip Hronek in for Game 7. Hronek will play with Alexandrov, gets the +1. Alexandrov's a left-handed D anyways, so Alexandrov and Hronek will play third pair, and the forward changes that I made, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Game 7 of Round 1, way more dramatic than it should be. Up 3 games to 1, let's not choke it. The Ducks, a 41-win team that squeaked into the playoffs, don't let them claw their way back into this with their ridiculously subpar goaltending. You are the better team. Go out there and show it. Game 7 at Rogers Arena in front of the home fans. Round 1. Let's push our way through to Round 2 and put this tomfoolery behind us. First period, 0-0 after 20 shots, 11-9 in our favor. Second period action now. Show me something. Hold on a second. Don't do this. Don't do this. Shots 19-18 for Anaheim. And we're down 2-0 after 40 as Reinbacher and McTavish score a couple goals. How are we not scoring? What is this wave of scoring where we score 9, 7, 6, no problem, and then we have games of 0, 1, 2? Third period down 2-0. Where is the scoring? So hell, and power play Anaheim killed off. Where is our scoring in the top 9? One of the highest scoring teams in the league. Power play Anaheim again killed off. Power play Canucks. Come on, gentlemen. Totally killed off. 5 minutes ago. Power play. Okay, we're hopping in. Power play Anaheim again. What's with the penalties? Power play Anaheim. We're going to hop into this one. Oh my goodness. Down by 2 with 5 minutes to go. It's not over yet. But I'm very, very scared. The slow sim wasn't giving it to us. Look at the goaltending rating, 76. The slow sim wasn't going to give it to us. The in-game sim is so painful to watch, but at least it gives us a little bit more of a chance than whatever the slow sim was doing for us. Ratu blocks a shot. That's in, big boy. Skates. Here we go. 1 minute and 4 seconds to go on the power play. Ratu, kill that clock. There you go. Gets it over to whoever it was that lost it. Here come the Ducks the other way. Drysdale over the blue line. Jimmy Drysdale bumped off. And so Zegras skating it. Trevor Zegras scores! Oh my goodness. Up 3 games to 1. We choke. Up 3 games to 1 with the forehand backhand classic. It's an EA classic. Forehand backhand, forehand backhand. As Dobson just watches him skate in. Oh, this game. What a colossal choke. Big changes coming next season. Big changes coming. I don't know, Tyukin, Sador, Thompson, goaltending, because Demko's going to be almost retiring at this point. 4.5 minutes to go. Not over yet, but this is just shameful. Drysdale, his shot is wide. McTavish off the side of the post. Oh my goodness. I'll turn the shooting sliders up, but 3 goals in 4.5 minutes, I don't know. Okay, nice little pick off there from Karamaki, even though the Ducks won the face-off. Very good. Are we pulling the goalie? Probably not. Got to be very careful with it, since the AI hates to set up in the zone. Tanner Howe coming back the other way. No problem. Triple teams into the Canucks territory. Hughes, good shielding. Now let's try pulling that goalie. Here we go. Nope, gave it away at the blue line. And we'll return the goalie. Markstrom, here we go. Skate, boys. Come on now. Lundqvist, little Deke. Okay. Deeks again. Put that on net. Let's go. Markstrom, shoot, buddy. Come on. Hughes through traffic with Karamaki on the doorstep. No. Drysdale up to Zellweger. Keep it in. There you go. Markstrom. Lundqvist with the goalie pulled. Look for open space. There you go. Hughes on net. All right, at least that's on net. Turned aside. All right, in the corner. Markstrom to the point. Man, what are you doing? Carlson just misses. They're getting tired out here now. Hugo Beaufet up to Wallace. 3:22 to go. Casper over to Beaufet. Just put it on net. Hugo over to Casper. Glove save, Klang. All right. So now we can keep the first line out and take a timeout with 3:14 to go. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll save that until there's less time left. I'll put the second line out, which is perfectly capable as well. And it was a little less time, and both of them are tired. Then I'll take the timeout, which will benefit both the first and second line. Offensive zone draw, 1 back by Casper. Wallace, no! Wallace! David Wallace, don't do it. At least there's icing, though. Okay, here we go. Face off, 1 back by Casper. Wallace, Dobson, Markstrom. Shoot, big boy. Carlson bumped off. No one wants to go help him out, though. And Carlson's going to carry it out. Can't get through the red line, though. All right, Pettersson back into Anaheim territory. Pettersson, Casper, Beaufet on net, bounce. Okay, we'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it. Elias Pettersson, that's 1. That is 1. Okay. Very weird play. I thought that was going to be called for a kick-in or something. But we'll take it. Let's get the third line out. Very odd moment, but Elias Pettersson scores another, what's that, his 8th? I don't know. They're going to tell us in a minute. Thanks for the beautiful camera angle here. Elias Pettersson, that is his 10th point. And they'll tell us the bottom here in a second, I believe, right? Or not. 2:51 to go. We pulled the goalie. It worked out. Now, will we do it again? His 7th. All right, unassisted. I want to do it as soon as we can get possession again. Arcabello. Get in there, Tage. Let's go. Piero Zabato fighting with Tage. In the corner. Somebody go in there. Just Tage and Piero Zabato. All right, no. Just let them have all their players just carried out, no problem. JT Miller. Bjorkstrand. Can't get the shot off. Good. In the corner now. Bumped. 2:18 to go. Let's get the second line out. There goes Zabato. Marquez. Misses the net by a country mile. Now here's Hughes with it. 2 minutes to go, and we need 2 goals. Marsham, he's tired. We're going to time out here. Casper with the puck. On net. There you go. Klang makes the save. Howe down to Zegras. Don't let him enter the zone. Just wide again. Oh my goodness. Quinn Hughes. Let's go. Another chance. We're getting chances after chances from the EA gods. Markstrom is exhausted. He takes a big hit. McTavish, he's slow to get up even. He has no energy. Zegras, off a skate! Quinn Hughes' skate saves that one. Yeah, we need a timeout here. We need a whistle. Or we just got... we gotta change, though. I can't have tired players allowing them to come in. McTavish with 1.5 minutes to go. We need to set something up. And McTavish scores. We can only keep them away from an empty net for so long. We got 1. We scored 1. That showed a little something. But the 41-win Anaheim Ducks, with their sub-900, whatever, 850 save percentage goaltending, will come away with a Game 7 victory, beating us for the second time through 5 postseason series, as we choke a 3-1 series lead and lose 3 games in a row to this below-average team. As we move into episode number 42, the off-season, I'm thinking either it might be the last recorded episode. We're going to start doing some live streams to try and get more episodes done as soon as possible, because the recording does take a little longer. And we have something like, I don't know, 8 episodes more to something, I don't know. If we do a year per episode, we still have maybe half dozen episodes to do before we do our big wrap-up. And time is ticking for NHL 25. There needs to be some sort of urgency setting that you can put into things. Kind of like in FIFA where it's attacking, ultra-attacking. There has to be some sort of setting that you could do. It can't be that we're down by 1 in the down by 2, down by whatever it is in the playoffs, with an empty net, and they just allow them to skate in as if it's a normal entry. Hey, power play, great, with 9 seconds left, thank you. There you go, Marshall wins the face-off. Are we gonna get a shot on this power play before the game ends? Let's see. Hey, look at that, you just scored a goal. Quinn Hughes, look at you, big boy. Thank you, Capitan. Thank you very much. So we'll only lose by 2 now. So we scored 2 goals, which is more than I think we would have gotten in the slow sim. So even though we'll lose, I'd rather lose 4-2 and say we pulled the goalie, we tried our best, than just watch the slow sim give a shutout to Klang. We got very embarrassed, but at least not totally embarrassed. Very, very extremely embarrassed, but not totally. We saved that 0.1% shred of dignity by scoring 2 goals. But didn't mean anything. 2 goals in 5 seconds. Let's do it. Skate! Away! Bats in! Shoot, bello! On net, thank you very much. And the Ducks eliminate us in 7 games. 35-year-old Pettersson, 34-year-old Hughes. This hurts for those guys. They're still around for a couple more years, but they won't always be at those levels. Terrible. Look at the helmets, the hair going through the helmets. What are we doing in 2024? What are we doing? The Silver Surfer, love that afro. Well, wasn't that something? For the first time in 5 years, since we missed the postseason, we do not make it to at least round 2. Shots end 33-32, and we fall 4-2 with an empty netter. Again, Demko only allows 3 goals, but we can't score. We scored 2 goals for 3 consecutive games, losing by 1 each time, then plus an empty netter in Game 7. Wow, what? And just like that, it's over. Just like that, it's over. In those 7 games, Pettersson, 7 goals. That's great, 11 points. Markstrom, 8 points, -2. Dobson, 8 points, +6. Again, he's another guy who's 34. Quinn Hughes, point per game. Lekaramaki, 6. Lundqvist, 5 and 5. Casper, 1 goal. That killed us. Beaufet, 4. Thompson, 1 goal. That killed us. Ratu, 1 goal and 3 points. That killed us. Wallace, 2. Sidor, 2. Alexandrov, -2. Bonino, Arcabello, 1 assist, -3. Hronik, even, ±. Bufflin, nothing. Tubkin, 51 points. 7 games, 0. What a joke. Demko did his job. 2 and 3 with a shutout, 934 save percentage, 2.13 goals against average. He did his job. And what could we regret? I don't regret game 1, because even if it was Jones or Demko and they allowed, whatever, 3 or even 2 goals, we only scored 1, so it didn't do anything. Maybe morale was involved or whatever, but the game isn't sophisticated enough for that. Jones didn't look horrible, and he won his game. That loss didn't count. He won his game. And then Demko did great. It was the scoring. Absolutely, entirely on the scoring. 7 goals from Pettersson, but a lot of these goals, like you say, okay, you had players who scored 3 goals or more in 7 games, 3, 3, and 7. These 3 players contributed for 13 goals. But don't be fooled, that the 9-goal game, the 6 or 7-goal game, really those 2-goal games were our killers. And Ratu and Thompson, even Lundqvist kind of, 60-goal guy, and he scores 2 and 5. That's not, again, such a small sample size, but could you have done 3 or 4 and 5? And of course, let's go see. Some games were better than others, but what does he end at? Kalle Dominik Hasek. 913 save percentage despite the 3.21 goals against, and Vasilevsky 880 save percentage, 5.09 goals against. What a joke. Another year of ridiculous EA fashion. The goaltenders continue to disgust us. So that's about it. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and sim to the draft. We'll look at the awards. We'll think about our offseason plan. But just like that, there's the postseason. A Game 7 choke as we're up 3-1. Again, I gotta remind myself, even again, what was that game after the 9-goal game? It was 9-3, and then it was 6-1. So we score 15 goals in those 2 games. But after that, 1 goal. 3 goals, that's good. 1 goal, 3 goals, then 2, 2, and 2. And it would have been 0. It would have been a 3-0 shutout if I didn't go into the game and watch that one. Incredible. So I'll do my things on my end, the scouting and all that. We'll get to the draft, we'll get the offseason plan, and we'll start wrapping it up. And as we're moving towards the draft, I totally forgot about the Bykov extension. Thankfully, he still wants just a 1-year extension to stay as an RFA. League minimum, $850K, so that's no problem. But at 5, 6, 7 years, he wants like $8 million. So hopefully that means the game thinks that he'll grow. But for now, 1-year extension at league minimum to stay as an RFA. That's what we're sending him. And as expected, he accepts that. Here we are in the Stanley Cup Final, Predators and Devils, and the New Jersey Devils are your Stanley Cup champions. In the playoffs, we lost the Ducks in the NHL and lost to the Gulls in the AHL. So Anaheim really got us good. Let's see, in the draft lottery, Winnipeg jumps from 2-1, Boston 4-2, Mini drops 1-3. That's tough. Central scouting is done. Good. It's one of my best years in recent history for scouting. Like the top 500 prospects are all fully scouted, it feels like. It's crazy. Retired players. Whoa, big retirements here. Connor McDavid. What? Calls it a career at just 37 years of age and still an 87 overall. 1,869 points in 1,470 games. He retires. So does Alexander Barkov, both on the Oilers. 1,412 points for him in 1,557 games. Philip Forsberg retires. Former Canucks legend and Stanley Cup champion JT Miller retires after the Ducks eliminated us. Reinhart, former Canucks Sam Reinhart as well. Wow. Look at this. It's been a little while. But wow, Sam Reinhart goes out with 1,127 points. Another former Canuck here. There you go. Brock Besser. Another one. Some former Canucks going out here. 1,040 points for Brock Besser in his career. Anyone else who stands out here? Maybe some names I'm forgetting even, so feel free to remind me. But there's a bunch of the retirements. Zadorov we had for a little bit, I think. Could be. And then for the goaltenders, you say Saros retires. 75 overall, 415 wins in his career. And there you go. Coach retirements, Ferrelli. Wasn't he our head coach? I think he was, well, at least he was one of our coaches in Abbotsford. He retires. All right, Drew Ferrelli. Take it easy. And any Vancouver coaches? None. All right, very good. Draft interviews, not needed this year. Pro Scout on the line. I'm going to go ahead and hang up. And here we are. So, let me guess. The Ducks got swept in round number 2. Let's see it. The Ducks get swept out of round number 2 by the Predators, who then beat the Coyotes and fell to the Devils in 7. Oh my goodness, they beat us 3 in a row to take us out in round 1 and then get swept by Nashville. Serenity now, serenity now. Awards, the 2033-34 awards. Devils won the Stanley Cup. President's Trophy went to the Capitals. Predators and Devils in the Stanley Cup Final. Individual awards. McLeod won the Art Ross and the Hart. Crazy season from him. James Norris to Lane Hudson, who just edged out Quinn Hughes. Lady Bing to Paraskak over in Columbus as well. Calder to Cloutier over in Seattle. Jack Hughes wins the Conn Smythe. Gabriel Daigle wins the Vezina. Swayman himself alone wins the Jennings. Virgilio wins back-to-back Bill Mastertons. That's pretty rare. Jack Adams, the coach of the Panthers. Kuznetsov, back-to-back Frank J. Selkes. Ted Lindsay goes to McLeod, and Rocky Richard to McLeod. What a 3 years in a row of Art Ross. 2 out of the last 3 Hearts, 2 of the last 3 Rockets. McLeod, what a machine out there. In the AHL, we got the AHL equivalent of the Calder to Voinov in his rookie season there. Very good. And that's it, just that one award. And in the playoffs, by the way, in those 3 games, yeah, okay, nothing really to look at for the stats. That's sad. Very sad. We lose in 3 games. Savatsky, 813 save percentage. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. 914 in the season. And 813 in the playoffs. Yeah, I guess he came in relief probably because Kabanov was the starter. Anyways, here we are at the draft now, ladies and gentlemen, moving into the 2034 draft and offseason next episode. The biggest thing to consider will be the contracts, as we do have a couple of RFAs in here. So if we look at all expiring, actually the first thing we should look at is probably the progress reports, excuse me. So any updates to our growth within the system? If we look at, let's just sort by overall, I suppose. Anything that stands out to us as differences. Dobson from 87 to 89, that probably won't stick though. Casper from 90 to 87, I guess he was boosted because it shows 0 modifications. Tubkin up to an 84 from an 83. Voinov's up to an 82. Trying to get him in the NHL next season. Thompson down to an 81. Probably trade him. Benino 81. Arcabello down to an 81. Campbell's going to be on the team as well this season. Sidor down from an 82 to an 80. Yeah, trade bait. And that's it. In the system now, let's see, sorting by modifications. So we see Lapointe had, yeah, Georges Lapointe, the 6'5" lower league guy we drafted in the end of the first round. Was it last year? He's already a 75. That's great news. 70 points with Shikutami in the QMJHL. Sadikov, Pressburg's up to a 76. Backman, he was a 3rd round pick. Magnus Backman, 76 overall now. Sawchuk, and we sort by overall. Kuka's at a 78. Tero Kuka. And what did he do in, was it Liga? No, he was in the AHL this season, 52 points. And he was in the SHL before that. Listed as a 4th line forward now. Forbes is at 75 as well. Okay, gotcha. All right, good to see. Now, looking at those contract extensions, we're just thinking about, we have 15.72 million to play with. Basically, it comes down to Wallace and Kravchenko for those 15 point whatever million. Wallace wants a 4x8. 3 years keeps him as an RFA, though. So I'd rather do the 3-year demand. 85% brings it to 6.8 million. 3 by 6.8 would not be crazy. But maybe we can get him down to 6.5 if we qualify him and wait a little bit. Not wait 3 weeks and go crazy over 200K. If we have to sign him for 6.8, we'll sign him for 6.8. But getting him down to 6.5 might be a bit more of a round, fair number. Same for Kravchenko. He's only played 2 seasons now. Yeah, 5 by 8 doesn't make sense for me. 1 year to stay as an RFA probably makes the most sense. Unless we could go long term. But it feels odd giving a guy who's only played 2 years, or I know like a year and a bit as a first pair guy. Like such a big contract. Like, we know he'll be there most likely, but feels a bit odd going that heavy on the year and on the AAV. 1 year at 7.525, 85% would be 6.4 million for 1 year, or we can go 8 years. Let's see, or in that range, and 85% would be more like 8 by 8. So 8 by 8 or 1 by 6 point whatever, or we qualify and try to get him down to something more in like a 5 by 6. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that. Soderblom probably walks. Naslund, look at his contract. If he can crack the NHL lineups up to a 78. Former 6th round pick, Ludwig Naslund. Hronek probably walks at this point, the 77 overall. We'll do a little recap on his career next episode. But Zykov's pushing for a spot. He'll get his contract. Backman gets a contract, etc., etc. That's for the skaters. Goaltenders, Demko. Do we sign Demko? What's the goalie situation next season? Do we roll with Jones or Demko in a tandem with Bykov? Bykov's a 78. I would think that he grows to at least an 80 by the start of the season. Kavanov, Savatsky. Do we trade out one of these guys? Probably we trade out Savatsky and get Scott as the backup next season in the AHL. We don't have to, actually. We're not pressed for that because he won't be an expiring UFA. Maybe the same AHL tandem next season. What do we do, though, with the goaltending? Do we roll with 2 out of 3 of Bykov, Jones, and Demko? Do we trade 1, 2, or all 3 of them? Jones would free up $4.875 million. It's not a huge issue this year, but it would free up a little bit of money. It's only 1 more year in his contract, though, I believe. So, yeah, it's not a huge deal. And what was Demko asking for again? 1 year at $2 million. It's a bit much, even if it gets down to 85%. Yeah, the unsigned Backman should get it. Yeah, these guys are all going to get their contracts. But if we think about the roster next season, looking at just the forwards here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's our top 6. We've been rolling with it for a few years now, but something didn't click in the playoffs here. I don't know what it was, but something didn't click. Third line as of now would be Tyupkin, Voinov, and Arcabello-ish, some sort of mix like that, or maybe even I don't know. Who's the center, though? So basically, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with Sador. 8 with... more like 7 with Sador. I don't know about Kuka. So we have 7 with Sador. I have 7 people for 6 spots in the bottom 6. But I don't want them all in the bottom, all on like the 4th line. I don't want all these guys with potential, low elite, low elite, low elite, medium elite, buried on the 4th line forever. In a perfect world, if Tyupkin stays, it would probably be Tyupkin on one wing, Voinov on the other wing, and a 3rd line center. Then the 4th line would be Arcabello, maybe Bufflin, and I guess Campbell. But I liked what Beaufet did this season, and I wasn't impressed with Tyupkin. Even though he's grown to an 84 overall, he had a solid regular season, but the playoffs really rubbed me the wrong way. To have 0 points in 7 games, and his ice time wasn't horrible either, 12:40 per night. I was not impressed at all. So we got to think about the bottom 6, or even could there be an overall to the top 6? Do we make somewhat of a big splash? Like last year we went out and got Marco Kasper. That was kind of our big splash. Do we now make some sort of other deal to try and reinforce the top 6? And that's just the forwards. The defense had their own issues and their own aging as well. Hughes is 34. Dobson's 34. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Bonino 5. And then 6 Alexandrov. Yeah, defense can stay the same. And Naslin might try and push for maybe 7th D. So yeah, defense should be okay. It's more the forwards, more the middle 6, bottom 6, and then the goaltending. Those are the big organizational questions. Any pending free agents now who interest us? For the forwards, we could see Mitch Marner out there, who's 37 years old, but 94 overall. Yzerman, Merrickx, Eichel, Pasternak, Zegras, Ehlers, etc., etc. A lot of names who could be out there. Nate McKinnon with bottom 6 potential. There are some interesting names who could drop out here. Maybe we could even trade for the rights of if we wanted to. I could see it. They're the forwards. And on defense, which I'm more hesitant to touch, yeah, nothing really interests me on defense here. And for goaltending, maybe we go after a big name. Degler just won the Vezina. Do we go after him? Big money to Degler? Wolf, Askarov, Hart. Degler, if you want to see his track record, what are his numbers in the last few seasons? Yeah, it's not always great. Even this year, 907 save percentage, 2.8 goals against average. Compared to the rest of the league, it was good. I guess, yeah. Yeah, I guess. It was the year before that wasn't great, but... I don't know, he'll be wanting big money, and I feel like every franchise mode always has Degler, but I could see it. Just throwing it out there. Now, last but not least, our draft thoughts. When it comes to the draft, what was the board again? Let's see. So we have pick number 1 at... so we have our own first at pick number 22. At least it's not like we lose early and then we pick at 29 still. Then we have an early second from Boston and our own later second at number 22 as well, closer to the like early 50s. So 22 in round 1 and then like 36, right? So we're looking at 22 and 36 around there in the draft class. Or we could use those picks and other pieces like Sador or whatever else to move up if we were thinking about one guy in particular. I'm not going to look at every player here, but if anyone catches your eye, let me know. I can look them up if you'd like me to, if you want any further details. This guy's a medium elite, Boris Valentenko, NHL-ready defenseman, medium elite at 12th overall. NHL-ready at 30 is a scam, but NHL-ready at 12 with medium elite potential, Boris Valentenko? This could be something. Keep that in mind. That could actually be a legitimate possibility. Besides that, a lot of top 6 forwards, top 4D. Ethan Dietz, medium elite gem at 18. That might be easier even to trade up for. He had 78 points in 66 games last year. A- shooting. 3 years away. Owen Nolan comparable. I could see that also being a possibility. Then aside from that, more medium top 6 forwards, medium top 4D. Low elite at 31. Tommy Beach. 3 years away. Again, though, at 22... yeah, I'd probably trade up from 22 for Dietz to 18. The bigger question is, do we trade up for Valentenko? And then the other pick at 36, we're looking again at the same range, but there is DeSalvatore. Yahir DeSalvatore. What a mix of nationalities there. Love that. Melting pot. 3-year NHL ETA. A- shooting. Again, low elite here as well. Garrett Donaghy. 3 years away as well. Medium top 4 defensive D. Kurt Hood. 2 years away. Then a bunch of medium top 6s. Charles Ramjasingh, 17-year-old, 3 year away. Low elite. And then more of the same. Okay? There's even a player from France there. How about that? In terms of NHL ETA, the top 5 are NHL ready, as well as Valentenko, Shea, and Sven Arvidsson. Billy Shea, NHL ready, as well as Sven Arvidsson, NHL ready, A+ shooting. As a sniper, I would think. There you go. This guy a grinder. I'm not as interested in Big Billy. And then everybody else is... there's a couple who are 2 years away, but pretty much everybody else from then on is 3 or 4 years away. Sorting by potential. Any later gems we'll be going after? I'm sure there are. Yeah, ooh, here we go. So we'll probably get at least one medium elite goalie prospect. They're both 19. You'd be the judge of who you'd prefer. Smaller sample size, but better league for Hayden McDonald. Both 5 years away. So there you go. We'll get one of the medium elite goalies. Steven Reinhart at 66. Nicholas Madden at 64. Travis Dika at 60. Goalie, I probably wouldn't go after him. So probably Madden and Reinhart would be targets. The low elites, I'm sure there's a bunch of these. Yeah, there you go. 183, 210, 218. So it's going to be another solid draft in terms of later value. Top sixes who have later value. 132, there you go. Laurent Bissonnette, there we go. We'll get him. Oh, sorry, I missed the low top sixes. Low top sixes. Almqvist, good. Defenseman later on, not as much for the medium top fours, but for the low top fours, yeah, a lot of low top 4D value. Good, yeah, a bunch of those. And that's about it. All right, so there's the draft, ladies and gentlemen. According to our picks, just one more reminder, on top of our first and our 2 seconds, we also have 2 thirds, a fourth, 2 fifths, and a 6th in this draft. So ladies and gentlemen, that just about does it. If you have any other thoughts on the upcoming offseason, let me know. We can see here that Fedor Sveshkov and Quinton Byfield are both in the trade block. We can't see the trade blocks, but we can see that those 2 guys have been put on them. And that's about it. So it was a big disappointment, but that's the 2034 postseason. Year number 11 comes to an end. We'll do the offseason. I think I'm going to go ahead and record that episode, the 2034 draft and offseason. But starting in 2035, it's going to be full season episodes, regular season, playoffs, and then even the postseason, hopefully, all together. Unless we wait for that and we make, you know what? You let me know. Should these big live stream episodes of 1 year be off-season, season, playoffs? Or should they be season, playoffs, off-season? I think I'd probably prefer off-season, season, playoffs. So actually, next episode might not be recorded. Next episode might be a live stream episode, as we do all of year 12, then all of 13, all of 14, all of 15. Knock that out in a week and a half or 2 weeks. Then do the big sim to year number 25. We'll do the same thing for our Starfleet series, and then we'll get the ball rolling towards NHL 25. Yeah, I think so. So ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for the big NHL 25 franchise mode wish list coming your way in a couple days as well. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and of course, subscribe if you haven't already, if you're made aware of all of our uploads as we end off NHL 24 and move into NHL 25. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this one. What needs to change? Do we change the head coaching even? Do we give a chance to Ryan Suter to be our head coach? He was our interim head coach for a little bit once. He won 22, 15, and 6. Do we change up the coaching? Do we change up the core, the top 6, the goaltending? What is it that we change? And what's the direction that we're going to go in? Looking forward to hearing your thoughts down here in the YouTube comments or over on the Discord server, link in the description. And I will leave you off there. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.